Yo, 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 yo. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Max and Juan cast. Max, how you doing today, my brother?
Doing good. How was your trip again?
It was good. Basically
How
put
many
us
games? That 4? 3?
this year. That was my third game. I think this is the most games I've ever been to in one season. It just so
You
happens to
gonna
be
keep
the
going?
worst. No, no, no. It was a great opportunity. I sat in
Cap.
the 20th row from the field. So there were like lounge tickets. The seats were like cushioned and comfortable, and we had like our own little lounge area that we can go. Separate bathrooms, all that. It was dope. It was so fucking dope. The game sucked ass. Okay, once again.
Y- You know how bad I heard it was in Vegas. My old boss lives there, and he had 2 tickets to the game, and somebody broke into his car. And when he got back to the car, there was 4 tickets there. It was like, geez,
Yeah,
it was
it's
tough, man.
it's tough. It really is tough, man. It's even
What
to a
was
certain
it?
it's to a
Was
certain
it tough because they gave you hope, like they could
Yeah,
maybe
they
pull
always
it
do
out?
that shit. I was I took my cousin. I took my cousin to his first like regular season
Wow,
Raider game.
what a fucking
I know,
gift!
I know, I know. But it was a great opportunity. I don't think I'll ever be able to unless I become like a fucking millionaire, like big baller status.
Watch Desmond Ritter like do that shit again.
No,
Like,
no, no. Like the seats wise. Like I paid $350 for $1,000 seat, So it was an opportunity I
oh,
seen that
I'm sure the Raiders will be bad again, and you'll be able to do even better.
I
I
don't
think you could probably.
I don't know.
I bet next year if this shit
This
continues,
was
like
a
because you guys will
unique
probably get like the 4th pick and don't get the quarterback, you might be able to sit like on the fucking bench.
it was a unique situation, Max. All right, as Max comes back in, little technical difficulties, but yeah, it was a great opportunity, man. And I wanted my cousin to experience the
Suffer.
Raiders, yeah, and suffer at the same time. I felt so bad because I was just like, dude, like I really wish like you can see a better game. And I was just so happy that they scored. I was like, please let him at least experience a freaking touchdown. It was hard to come by, and I was praying so fucking hard on that Hail Mary, like, please let something fucking crazy happen. Please let something crazy happen. Nothing crazy happened. Desmond Ritter's terrible. I was trolling the Atlanta Falcon fans. I was screaming Penix the whole game. I was screaming on the top of my lungs to Kirk Cousins that he needs to go massage his freaking Achilles because he's fucking terrible. I was just telling Falcon fans all day. I was like, how much longer are you guys gonna tolerate this? Like, why can't you guys just start a Penix chant right now? He is dog shit. They were literally trying to run the ball every single play. They were terrified of throwing the ball, which was insane. Anyways, look, getting a little bit off topic. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to like the video. Comment down below any thoughts, opinions that you guys have. We are completely done with week 15, going into week 16. I know we're a little bit late. This is probably going to come out on Thursday, so bear with us. Really jam-packed schedules. But it's never too late to talk football, Max. I feel like the biggest storyline coming out of week 15 was indeed Kirk Cousins getting benched, obviously, but let's act like we're doing this right after Sunday. And I think it's the Buffalo Bills and the Detroit Lions and how the Bills really dominated the hurt and injured Detroit Lions. What were your
I don't
thoughts?
think that sums it up enough. One, I don't think it's just injured and hurt. It's like riddled with injuries. It's just they have 22 people on the IR. It's the most in the league. Honestly, I can see Detroit becoming a wild card if this continues up. I know their schedule's not overly hard coming up, but they have just lost so many guys on where I don't really consider them a Super Bowl favorite anymore. Love their offense, but you just factor in like here's a couple of the names they've lost. These are all key starters, contributors: Aiden Hutchinson, Aleem McNeil, Carlton Davis, Alex Anzalone, Rodrigo, the other linebacker, David Montgomery,
Melifanu.
Melifont. Everybody's hurt, and it's like not just like oh they could be back in a week. It's like most of them are done for a long time.
Yeah.
and the margin for error for them is closed. Again, I don't really look at this as such a great win for Buffalo. Like, I know it's gonna sound like crazy, like, "Oh, how can you not, like, appreciate that win?" They're dismantled. You still got another 40 burger hung on you.
Yeah.
The defense is a problem. If you play an elite offense, like, again, I'm not gonna be trying to be a homer, but the Eagles have a complete team, and what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And it scares me if I'm a Bills fan. Again, the offense we know is capable, but the defense again just showed like they've been up 80 points in 2 weeks. That's not something to write home about.
I would say this though, Max. I understand the concerns with the Bills. But I think Josh Allen is having like one of those crazy type of years. Like he's
But one, they're asking him to be Superman.
yeah, he is. And he's doing it though. He's doing it.
But what about that? What about when the playoff game they're playing the Chiefs, ball gets tipped by Chris Jones, pick. That's like the margin for error for them is literally Josh Allen's right arm.
Yeah. I know. I get that. I would just say this. I know the Chiefs are the Chiefs. I know they're not playing good. Mahomes is kind of banged up, but we still expect them to be there at the end of the day. I just really don't see any AFC team being able to really dominate the Bills like that. I'm scared of. Like I agree with you as far as like them not having enough firepower, their defense having some holes, Josh Allen doing everything. I just feel like who in the AFC, Max, do you feel comfortable with shutting down Josh Allen? Him not doing that.
The only team I would really say I could believe their defense could slow them down would be Pittsburgh.
And
Just
they
because
can't
they could
score with them though.
correct. That would be the thing. It'd be like, hey, can we just get a couple stops, ball control, run the ball?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, though. Buffalo got out quick. Buffalo had a great hot start, 14-0. They didn't have to play run defense for most
Yeah.
of the game.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, we got to pass, pass, pass. And that takes away from the Bills' weaknesses.
Yeah.
Because they can't stop the run for anything.
That's the bright spot that I see as a Bills fan. I'm like, hey, the AFC, I think we can run the AFC, but the NFC, like, I think they'll struggle with the Eagles. I think the Eagles have a legit defense to slow down Josh Allen, you know? So that's the bright side. But I agree with you, man. Like, as far as the Detroit Lions, they're falling apart, bro. They're absolutely falling
And
apart.
again, it's not like it X's or O's or they got like, greedy. It's literally the injuries have just derailed them.
Yeah.
Because at some point, the six-string linebacker is not going to do nothing. Like, you just can't win with them.
But you know
You
what?
can't have so many corners out. It just doesn't work. It's not like there's not like the next man up. When there's six guys ahead of you, then you're up. You're screwed.
we've seen a little bit of this. I would have to go back and look at all the injuries, but once upon a time, the Green Bay Packers did do something like this, where they had like a record number of guys on IR heading into the Super Bowl. So it's been done with a lot of injuries, and I do think the Lions are capable of doing it, just because they're still loaded. Like, hey, they still got Jahmyr Gibbs, who's going to be a full-time starter, who I think is very, very good, and it's going to be a blessing in disguise. St.
They play
Brown.
the Bears, Niners, and Vikings.
It's doable. It's doable.
I mean, the Bears are dead team walking. The Vikings will be tough that week 8. Like, that could literally cost them the 1 seed and the division.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Dan Campbell said it the best though. They gotta get grimy. They gotta get dirty. They're not eating filet mignon no more. They gotta eat that molded bread, like he said. So we'll see what happens, bro. The panic meter is going off in Detroit though. If I'm a Detroit fan, I'm a little panicked right now. What else did you want to talk about, Max, other than the Bills and the Lions?
Well, I think I'd like to stay in the AFC and kind of touch on we'll stay on the NFC AFC flavor. I think the second game of the week was the Steelers and Eagles, especially on paper.
Yeah.
I was completely shocked by my team's performance. I didn't think we'd bully Pittsburgh like that. I think that was surprising to me. And obviously, I think the game would have been closer if Najee doesn't fumble that snap on the toss and kind of cost them points. But I was happy with the way they came out with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, just 20 catches between the two of them. That's great to hear. It kind of mends some fences, kind of just, they're doing what like good teams do. It's like, oh, it's the media. It's not us. It's the media. Like they're just trying to divide us, and they kicked Pittsburgh's ass, which was shocking. I mean, especially to me. I don't know how you feel about it. it kind of made me remember what like Pittsburgh ceiling is when they've been kind of playing like a little above it lately. And it kind of gave me a little bit more trust in my Eagles. You know me, I'm like the last person to believe in his own team. Like, but I thought it was a hell of a
Uh,
win.
I'm on the other side of the fence. I'm not completely disagreeing with you, but I would say not having George Pickens is a real problem for Pittsburgh. He's the big play guy. They were definitely missing him in this game,
I would agree.
and there were certain parts that you guys were dominating, obviously, but I don't think the score says really how the game was. Like I think
No, no, I agree.
there
I
were
agree with
certain
you.
opportunities from the Steelers that they just fucking just fumbled, literally. Like Najee Harris fumbled. There was a couple of bad calls, like Saquon Barkley winded up coming back after the second quarter. Like that helped out the Eagles. But I don't think the Steelers are far off. I really don't. I really do think George Pickens is that important to this team. And as far as the Eagles go, I mean, shout out to Nick Sirianni for kind of like shoving it in everyone's face. Like, hey, AJ Brown's a diva. Oh, we got problems. Nah, this is not going to be existing. And I don't know about you, but I didn't really like how Jalen Hurts went to the press conference. Like, if this motherfucker threw like 5 touchdowns, like that's what y'all wanted to see. Like, I don't know. For a guy in Jalen Hurts that I feel like is a really good, well-spoken guy and knows what to say to the media, that says a lot without saying too much. I thought it was kind of out of character for him. It was kind of weird for me to see him do that. But hey, he felt confident. They just beat a really hard-nosed football team. So we'll see how it goes. But um, I wouldn't really say you guys dominated the Pittsburgh Steelers.
No, again, you didn't listen to me talk, but what's new? I said in the trenches we dominated them. I was surprised by how we pushed them around. You can go back and watch the fucking game. We pushed them around, and you don't see Pittsburgh get pushed around very much. That was impressive to me. That is what I like to see.
I feel like Alex Smith had a really good game. I felt like he was fucking kicking ass. But TJ Watt definitely got kind of shut out in that game a little bit.
Eagles are a great team,
They
especially in
are.
the
No,
trenches on both sides.
I think the story of the game is really the defense. I like the Eagles have a legit defense. They're really fucking good. Um, their offense kind of
So
overshadows it.
correct. And again, this is where we talk about coaching matters so much in the NFL because look, Quinion Mitchell's been really good.
Yeah.
So is Cooper DeJean, Charlie Gardner is there. But just the scheme and the coaching of this defense compared to last year with Matt Patricia and just morons calling it.
Yeah, Vic Fangio is a fucking mastermind, bro. Like he's night and day from last year's coaching staff. And then I want to say this: how scared were you when Dejan fumbled the punt? How'd you feel like the game
Yeah,
was
no,
gonna
in the
go?
beginning I was like, "Oh, we're gonna ruin this game.
Yeah,
We're gonna just choke it out." And that's what kind of impressed me too. Is like we overcame 2 big mistakes: Jalen Hurts fumble, Cooper DeJean,
yeah,
and we were still able to kind of whoop their butt a little bit.
yeah, most definitely. So look, this opens up the door for Baltimore. I feel like Baltimore plays Pittsburgh this week, with a chance to maybe get that division. But Baltimore winds up beating up on the New York Giants. Little MVP race going on with Lamar and Josh Allen. Who are you more excited to
Josh Allen.
see? Josh Allen
Yeah, there's not. He's the MVP. He's doing the best quarterback of 2024 by far.
and Lamar Jackson's not close for you?
No one's close to him this year. Not even Mahomes.
Well, yeah, of course not
The level,
Mahomes. But I mean,
the
Lamar
level.
threw 5 touchdowns though, Max, today. Or not today, on
Who they
Sunday.
play? The Giants.
The
The
Giants.
sorry ass Giants.
I mean, the
Yeah.
Giants still
So.
got a decent defense though.
Okay. No, they're phoning it in for Shadir. So Shadir. Sorry, I can't say your name good. But no, I wasn't. I mean, it's the Giants, bro. Lamar played fine, but the Superman type plays Josh Allen's making, rolling out 30 yards, throwing a 50-yard bomb to Khalil Shakir. It's like that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Nah, I get you. All right. Let's talk about the Chargers. All right. Tampa Bay Buccaneers put up 40 on your LA Chargers, Max. Uh, I kind of said it a week early. You were kind of hating and saying like, "Oh, the expectations, this and that." I know you probably still feel like that, but I do think they're frauds. Hardcore. I think they're 1-6 against teams that are at 500 or above 500. So far in the season, they're undefeated against every other team that's under 500. I think it speaks a lot to what kind of team they are. But they continue to struggle against good teams, and the Bucks are a good team. They're not a great team, they're not something crazy, but they're a good team. And Mike Evans in fantasy playoff fashion went absolutely nuts in this game. What'd you think of your Chargers, Max?
I thought the dam broke, and it was, they shot themselves in the foot on a few possessions, and then it just showed like the talent. And I forgot who we were talking. I was talking with someone about another team. Like, you look at their defense, you're like, how are they the number one scoring defense? There's not a lot of guys. You're like, man, Christian Fulton's an all pro. Oh my God, Deion Henley's an all pro. It's just kind of like, again, it kind of stuck to me about coaching is how much tougher they are.
Mhm.
Like, I know they got a 40 burger put on them, but there was just plays like, remember last year when you watched the Chargers and it was like every run's 5 yards. It doesn't matter. Like, it could be me and you, it's 5 yards. And this year their identity has shifted. So again, I'm still pleased with their progress, but sometimes you need the guys, you need the Jimmies and the Joes, you need the X's, you need the X's and O's, but if you don't have the players to execute it, it's tough. And they don't really have that many great players on their defense. And that's no shots. It's just a reality. And they got checked by the Bucks, who are a talented offense.
I think especially in the secondary, their secondary is lacking. They got guys that have
And
been
their offense is so anemic. It's so bad. And you sent me the thing about somebody's like, Justin Herbert's been crowned too early.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Dude, yeah, you're a fucking bozo for that one, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Go watch the guy play the position.
Granted, he said that he was gonna go watch. He hasn't watched the film on it. He was going off stats.
That's lovely. Let's do it. I guess if we're going off stats, then I guess Jalen Hurts is going to be the MVP because best team in football. Oh wait, he's not.
Yeah,
it's just stupid. It's stupidity because I don't understand why some guys get a pass for their team and some guys we blame everything on them.
right.
I just don't get it.
I think Justin Herbert is one of those weird kind of players because he really does need to be winning to like solidify his like talent. We've been on this for a while. You more than me. There was a little bit of a stretch there where I was very critical of Justin Herbert. But I think you have to be kind of blind to not notice the kid's like talent, bro. He has an amazing arm. I do think there's certain things about him where he goes through these stretches, and most of the time it's for injury. I think he's still dealing with that ankle injury. I think that's part of it because
he puts himself in harm's way because he's just like, I can take this guy.
Right,
I'll take him.
Right. And it really does hamper his game. Like, I think he's on a whole nother level when he has that mobility to him. I think it brings a whole new different element to his game. And I think that's part of it. But Justin Herbert is still fucking really good, dude.
And by the way, I don't think there's a quarterback that has worse talent around him as the pass catchers go than Justin Herbert. Like, he's up there for like least talented skill group.
Yeah.
Like, I put it like this to somebody. If Vlad McConkey's your 3, you're really excited. If he's your 1, you're like, oh shit, this isn't fun.
Yeah.
And granted, they've gotten more than I ever expected out of Quentin Johnson, but they don't have no one who's a difference maker on their team.
Yeah. 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 I was kind of jaw dropped when, I can get from anyone's perspective when Ryan Fitzpatrick says that, like, maybe like he's a guy that doesn't make guys better or whatever, or, talent wise. My jaw dropped when he said that he doesn't think he's that tough of a player.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. Like, coming from a quote unquote like Charger hater, whatever, call me it. I can acknowledge the dude got some fucking guts, bro. Justin Herbert has gotten up for multiple big hits, and he's played with multiple big injuries. Guy's tough as fucking nails, bro. I've seen him take some fucking shots. So when Ryan Fitzpatrick said that shit about Justin Herbert, I was just jaw drop, bro. But the Chargers are what, Max?
8-6.
They're 8-6. Still in a good driver's
Playing
seat.
Broncos.
Yeah, they play the Broncos, big game. On the Broncos side, they beat the Colts. Weird game. I think it was just a weird
Wasn't
game.
Oh, Jonathan Taylor, why, dude? When the fuck are we gonna
So
figure it out?
So what was the worst play, Max? Was it JT doing the Deshaun Jackson impression as far as losing the ball before the goal line, or the fucking interception by Nick Bonito with the wide receiver pass back to 805? Which one was worse?
I don't know. I think the dropping the ball, because like that literally changed the dynamic. It's 20-10. You're steamrolling them. That gave them life. Really, the Colts let Anthony Richardson down today. Today on Sunday, they really did. It wasn't just that. Michael Pittman had a big fumble. It was like all of a sudden it was like 32-20. And I was like, what the hell happened? You were in control. And that was the thing that broke the camel's back. And say what you want. I thought Anthony Richardson played fine. It was just big mess ups. And I don't want to focus on a trick play gone wrong, because that's the least of it. Like Shane Steichen called a great play. Everyone blocked, and he dropped the ball at the 1 yard line. He knows better. If you ask him, it'll never happen again for him.
Right. Yeah. And his response was pretty expected. Like, he took ownership of it and was like, that can't happen ever again, no matter what the situation is. So I think the Colts are done. This whole thing, again, I'm not going to overreact to Anthony Richardson as far as being a bust, being a bad player. He needs a lot of fucking work. I don't know why people think he's gonna just fucking be this amazing passer within half a season. It's gonna take time. It's gonna probably take another off season. It's not gonna happen this year.
I mean, I feel like since he came back from the benching, he's played better.
He's played better, but there's still moments where you're like, oh my God. And you're gonna get that. You're gonna get that all year, Colts fans. You're gonna get that all year, NFL fans who watch AR5 and are like, oh, this guy's dog shit, bro. He's a bust. He's fucking terrible. They should trade him. They should draft another No, he's fine. You know what you get when you draft a guy in Anthony Richardson. He is a project, a huge project. Still have faith in the guy. Still needs a lot of work, though, man. Still needs a lot of work. And like Max said, the Colts simply let him down in a lot of ways. Because if he wins that game, I bet you people are not even saying these things about him. Like, oh, he's fucking terrible. Like, no, he won another game. So narratives change. People love to put the quarterback wins and losses to their performances and how good they are. I just think that's just how the game fucking goes. But it sucks to say. Broncos side, Bo Nix threw 3 interceptions.
Yeah, he played really bad.
Yeah, probably like his top 3 worst games this year. I would say the Jets game was pretty bad for him when like they couldn't move the ball at all. It seemed like, besides like 1 or 2 drives. The Broncos got away with one, though. Like, this was a great win for them as far as putting them in the driver's seat to be in the playoffs. They're probably going to play Pittsburgh, which sucks because I think Pittsburgh's going to whoop their ass. I think Bo Nix is going to have a hard time throwing against Pittsburgh. So we'll see what happens. But what do you think about the Broncos, Max?
I mean, I'm not like you said, they're fraudulent. I'm not really looking at them they can make a noise, win a playoff game, but they're ahead of schedule. So I don't really have much to say. I thought it was interesting what you were talking about with Anthony Richardson and the Colts and how he has bust potential. I'm curious to ask you a question. If you're a Bears fan, are you like, oh, Caleb's a bust? He is done.
No, I don't think so.
I'll say this one. We said it about Trevor Lawrence. If there was a year to have where I was like, hey, let's fuck the kid up, this is it. This is it. And I think it's worth a discussion because he's definitely broken. He's definitely not the same guy we saw at USC. There's doubt. And the one thing that I see that sticks out is the body language and the leader of men. Because you're a quarterback, you are the leader. And I just don't know if he's got the mental fortitude and the toughness to just stick with it. Like he took a big shot. It's tough.
Yeah.
If you don't think Justin Herbert's a tough guy, and after watching the shit, like you see him pick himself up, and Caleb was on the bench, he slinked. I'm sure he's in pain, and I'm not trying to say like you're not a tough dude, but just to me as an outsider, just watching the games and seeing stuff, it's like you fired your coach. The only thing you had going for you was your defense that regressed. They had this whole thing about how this coach could be the next Mike Tomlin. No, he fucking sucks. He's not getting the job. What are they? Haven't won a game. They're 1-3 since they fired Eberflus.
0-8.
And yeah. Oh yeah. Perfect. Yeah. So again, it just goes to show you, it's not always the grass is not always greener. The problems go deeper than Matt Eberflus, just like the Giants' problems go deeper than Daniel Jones. And I just wanted to have a discussion about you with Caleb. Like, what you think? I know you didn't get to watch this game, but I'm sure you've been just disappointed in his year, and I'm sure he has been too, and I'm sure all Bear fans have been.
Yeah, obviously, I didn't watch the game live. I was at the Raider
I'm
game.
telling you, one throws you think are like just in the bucket, sailing them. Bad mechanics, all arm, and yeah, you get hit a lot as a rookie. You don't trust it, and I get that, right? But some quarterbacks, like you said, and I'm sorry to interrupt you,
No,
just
you're good.
like Justin Herbert, what's his problem? He just stand there and fucking take it all day.
Yeah.
And some guys just run away from it.
Mhm.
And that's my last point. I'll let you talk.
Look, like I said, I didn't watch the game, but I obviously social media, you see clips, and the one thing that stands out what Max said that I 100% agree on is the body language. Body language is like, I think it's huge for a quarterback. I think like all the shit that Aaron Rodgers does, I fucking hate it. I think Aaron Rodgers has fucking dog shit body language. Anytime a guy drops a pass, anytime anything bad happens where it's not his fault, it's like the death stare. You know what I mean? And not everyone's like Kobe. And people look at it like Kobe used to do it. Like people don't realize like Kobe was a bad teammate for years because of that shit. Because he just gave guys the death stare and didn't give guys a chance. He like ruined guys' confidence. And I think in the NFL, being as a starting NFL quarterback, that's number one. Like, do you make guys better? Like Josh Allen, do you make guys like Khalil Shakir look like a Pro Bowler? That's half the fucking job. And he has the horses down there. He has Keenan Allen, who's been an all-pro, DJ Moore, who all-pro capable, top 10 pick in Roman Dunze. And the body language that this guy is showing is just fucking terrible. It reminds me a little bit of Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is another guy who has really bad body language. And that reflects like how the team looks at it. Like you see your quarterback putting his head down, fucking sighing. It's, you kind of gravitate towards it. Like, fuck, or this shit just keeps on fucking happening. So it's going to be really tough because we're kind of seeing it with Trevor Lawrence, a guy who was put in a similar situation as far as like, coach gets fired, you're in a bad offensive line, blah, blah, blah. We suck. We'll see how he turns it around. I don't know though, man. I don't know.
I'm just saying, I don't want to say I'm not saying he's going to be a bust, but again, it's a talking point where you're like, man, if this guy was going to be, this is the year, this is how it would be. It would be just struggles from the first minute
like,
to the last. And Hard Knocks, and I'll say this one, they definitely made a mistake. Should have drafted a tackle. Maybe it's not a good idea to put it all on the young quarterback's right arm.
Yeah.
You can't run the fucking ball. You can't pass protect. And now he's developed bad habits.
Yeah. And my whole thing is like, you look at a guy who went 2 picks after, Drake May. Who's in a better situation right now?
Caleb Williams has more talent.
Right? And who looks better? Who's making
Correct.
guys look fucking decent? It's Drake May. Drake May has a horrible situation. Like his offensive line is just as bad. And you don't see Drake May looking like that. Drake May looks good. So this is where me and Max are constantly talking about with quarterbacks, where it's like take context into things. What are they working with? And how are they making guys better? You know, what's the plate that they have to fucking deal with? And for Caleb, if we want him to be this guy who me and Max put as our number one quarterback coming out of the draft, slam dunk pick, you gotta look better, bro. You gotta play better and you gotta look better. We're not asking you to win games. That's like the least of our worries. It's not the fact that
Yeah.
he's losing, Max. You can lose all you fucking want. We get it. It's how does it look when you're losing?
Yeah, and I will say this about Justin Fields: he struggled a lot. He never looked defeated in Chicago. Not that I can recall. Really, during the game, you know what I mean? Like Justin Fields always left it out there on the field one. Like he emptied the tank every game for them.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be crazy. That can probably be an interesting video to go back and look at all the film of Caleb Williams and see what's really going on. But it's you gotta be worried if you're a Bears fan. You gotta be fucking worried, bro, because a lot of things start to creep up in your head. I'm a Raider fan, bro. I get it. Like once a guy does that, and it's like we're the Bears. We've never really had a quarterback. Like, what if this guy's just not it and we're just wasting our time? That could be a fucking option, bro. And it sucks. It really does suck. We'll see what happens
Well,
though. Um,
from one quarterback to another from the same class, you know, Michael Penix is going to start next week. One,
I'm excited.
I guess your chance worked. I guess the sideline heard them. I mean, I don't really know if they're doing the kid justice by throwing him out there. I mean, again, I think this was something we talked about literally from the 8th pick, which was arguably the most shocking pick we've ever heard.
Yeah.
I would say that, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's guys we really didn't know, like the Eagles draft Marcus Smith. You don't really like who the fuck's Marcus Smith, but for a team to spend $180 million on a quarterback, and I understand the contract's fluid, to taking this guy at 8, from the moment the pick happened, it's been ridiculed. Like, what the fuck was this pick?
Hmm.
And now, I guess worst case for Kirk Cousins, he gets benched. You're still paying him a ton of money, but it's only for a couple of years, so no big deal. But if you knew it would get to this point, you definitely don't sign him, right? You just let the rookie go out there and you find out right away if you got your man.
Look, I think it's great that they're starting the kid. I think it's much needed. Like Max said, I was starting chants in Allegiant Stadium to Falcon fans talking shit like Penix, Penix, because it's just so obvious. It was just so obvious that Kirk Cousins, they are terrified of him throwing the ball. Every time he was dropping back, it was scared to fumble or interception every single time. And I'm going with the notion that that little span where they signed him in that little time gap, which was probably like what, Max, maybe like 2 months before the draft,
Mm-hmm.
they knew something and they saw something. And it had to raise a red flag to the point where they had to get insurance with Michael Penix. And I think they were right on the fucking money. That like this guy is not the same. We fucked up bad. And we need to get an insurance plan. And that's all they're doing. They're using their insurance plan. It's getting worse and worse and worse. If you take out those Tampa Bay Buccaneer games from Kirk Cousins, he's been absolute dog shit. That's the facts of it. All his good stats and touchdown passes have came the majority against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
So what's the like, lay out to me the best case for Penix, and I'll try to do the worst case. Like, what's the best case? He just comes in, doesn't matter, wins or losses don't matter really.
No.
I mean, yeah, you want to win all 3
Mhm.
games, maybe sneak into the playoffs, but all they need to see, right, is him dominant, like be awesome.
Yes.
And they're like, we're good.
Yeah. He needs to just show what he can do. And we've seen it a little bit in the preseason, which is stand in that pocket and deliver fucking dimes. Just do it. And you know what? I hope he goes down as far as like the mentality of like, Bro, I got some great playmakers. Let me drop it off to Bijan. Let me give it to Kyle Pitts. Let me throw Kyle Pitts a jump ball. Let me throw Drake London jump ball. Like, I'm gonna go down with my stars. And that's something that's like been missing in Atlanta for years, bro. Like they drafted all these guys where it's like me and Max at one point were like, this is the fucking all-star team for jump balls at one point. And they never do it. They never do it. And it fucking blows my mind, bro. So if I'm Michael Penix, I'm like, dude, let me use these fucking great athletes that I have. Let's not try to get Ray McLeod involved or Darnell Mooney. No, let me throw the ball to Kyle Pitts and Drake London. That's what needs to happen. And it's like, move the ball, throw some darts. The kid can throw the ball. He can. And like Max said, like wins or losses are not going to matter. Everyone that's going to look at the wins or loss, you're not looking at the right thing, bro. I think the Atlanta Falcons have thrown in the white flag as far as playoffs go.
Yeah, because I don't really think he gets you like he's your best chance to make the playoffs.
No.
I don't think he's
No.
your best chance. And could be wrong. Maybe he's super ready. He should have started all along. But I have a hard time believing you're going to throw a rookie out to the Wolves in week 14 where, it's not week 1 where everyone's trying to figure themselves out. Like, they play the Giants, I think.
Yeah, Giants.
Let me tell you.
The Giants.
But the Giants know what they do well and they know what they do bad. And the Giants are playing for not much. And maybe, you pick a good game to throw them into. But it's not week 1 where we're still working on fundamentals, right? Like the Giants know how to run cover 3, know how to run cover 2, blah, 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 whatever you want to say. I just find it hard to believe that you think this guy gives you the best chance of winning at this point in the season.
Yeah, no, they
if
threw
it
in
looks
the white
great,
flag.
that's an awesome thing. It's awesome. Just so you know, going into next year, like, hey, Kirk Cousins is dead. We're going to cut him. We'll take the cap hit, whatever. We have our rookie quarterback. We're happy. It's all worth it. So we'll see how Michael Penix says. I wasn't really a huge fan of him coming out. I think he's a system type guy, like a Tua, like a Brock Purdy, like guys like that. But it's good he's out there. And again, they made a huge debacle of this whole situation by drafting him in pick 8, investing $180 million in Kirk Cousins, and so on. It was a complete mess. We were right. It wasn't going to end well.
Which I think it's fine. I think it's fine that he's a guy like that, like a Tua, like a Dak Prescott. They're all over the league. Look at Sam Darnold. You can win football games with guys like Michael Penix that can run an offense, has a great arm. Like, you can do it. And
that's a great thing you bring up Sam Darnold on. That's a great one you brought up. I do want to shift real quick because this is the last thing I want to talk about. What does Sam Darnold's future look like? That's what I'm curious to ask. And shout out to Dak because he asked me this question today. Let's spend a few minutes thinking, what does Darnold's future look like? Let's just say Minnesota makes the Super Bowl. They lose.
Mm-hmm.
You bring him back, right? You have to.
I don't think you have to. You got to look at yourself.
What if they win it?
You really do got to look at yourself in the mirror. You really do. And they know it the best. You got to be truthful with yourself. You got to say, is this guy the main, like, more than 50% of the reason why we're winning? Or is it Brian Flores in the defense? Or is it because we have one of the best wide receivers? Or is it because we have one of the best head coaches? You really do got to look at yourself. That's what it comes down to. Me personally, I think more of it has to do with all the other shit. I wouldn't keep him. I wouldn't. I think J.J. McCarthy can do just as good of what Sam Darnold is doing. And that's coming from a huge Sam Darnold fan that absolutely loved him coming out of the draft. And I love to see him succeed right now. But in reality, bro, like I said, there's a lot of quarterbacks out there that are system quarterbacks and guys who need a lot of help to succeed. And I think Sam Darnold's getting a lot of help, and he's in a really, really good situation. And don't get fooled. Don't get fooled. Don't pay this guy $60 million. And
what's the contract look like for him if you extend him?
I mean, shit, maybe
two at the. It's not about the money. I think it's about the years. Like, the most I would do is 3, and it's really like a 2. Like, we can get out of this quick.
Right. I mean, at that point, you just wasted a pick on JJ McCarthy.
No, I don't think you wasted one if you keep him for one. Bro, if, like, they win the Super Bowl, you bring him back for a year or 2.
If they win the Super Bowl, you gotta go with him. It's tough, bro. I don't think they're gonna win the Super Bowl. I don't think they're gonna get to the Super Bowl.
Bro, but, yeah, I'm saying, like, even if they don't win and you bring him back and be like, "Hey, it's an open committee," and, like, "Hey, if Sam Darnold plays the same way, he'll keep the job, and we'll just keep bringing JJ along slowly but surely."
Yeah.
They're like, another Jordan Love situation, so that's what it could be.
Okay, let's look at it like this.
But I'm saying this too. Who's lining up to be like, we can't wait to give Sam Darnold
Thank
$50
you.
million
That's
fucking
what.
dollars?
That's something that you can play.
By the way, the Giants and Raiders are not.
No.
Unless they stupidly play themselves out of getting a quarterback. Nope, they're not doing it.
In reality, Max, I'm just gonna break it down because I was kind of already thinking about this. There's really only 6 teams in the NFL that are gonna need a quarterback, and this is not including let's just assume Cam Ward, Shador Sanders, Raiders, Giants. I don't know who's going where.
Okay.
Those 2 guys are gone. Those 2 teams are gone. They're gonna have quarterbacks. Giants, Raiders off the list. You got the Titans. They're in the need for a quarterback. Are they gonna pay Sam Darnold? I don't think so. You got the Jets. Will they pay Sam Darnold?
Been there, done that. So we have the Titans.
Who else we got? We got I had all the teams lined up. All right, sorry, I just had to pull up the teams. So Titans, maybe the Jags, but I think they roll with Trevor Lawrence.
No, they just gave him all that money. No, they're out.
I think the Saints are a quarterback team. They're going to need a quarterback. I don't think they're going to roll with Derek Carr.
Saints.
Seahawks, that's 4.
No, I mean, you could at least roll in with Geno.
I think it's shaky. I think it'll be shaky. Then you got...
What about the Colts?
Yes, the Colts are an option as much as we like Richardson. And maybe the Browns. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. 6 teams. And that's stretching it. So it's like, are any of those 6 teams going to pay Sam Darnold? Be real. I don't think any of them are. I think the only team that maybe would, maybe the Seahawks. Maybe. But it's like, who are they competing with? They're not going to have to pay him much. They're not going to have to break the bank. So if I'm the Vikings, I have some leeway here. Like I hold more cards at the table than Sam Darnold. And if it's me, look, if I'm the GM, I'm not there day to day. I don't see everything, but from what I'm seeing, I'll roll with JJ McCarthy. And the only way I don't is if they win the Super Bowl. Win the Super Bowl, at that point you can do anything. You're playing with house money at that point. If you win the Super Bowl. That's the way I see it. But I think you have to start JJ McCarthy next year. You gotta give him a chance at least, and you can't put all your cards on the table for Darnold. You can't do it. There's just way too many. There's way too many factors in this to argue that he's not the one that's doing all this. Like, this is not like a Josh Allen situation where he's just carrying the team.
Yeah, no, I agree. He's kind of he's a system quarterback.
Yeah. And people love wins. That's what it is, man.
Yeah, correct. Anyone else you'd like to talk? Anything else you want to hit on real quick?
The Niners are dead. The Niners suck.
Yeah. Miami's dead.
Miami's dead. You're right about Miami. They're soft.
They're
soft team. Mike McDaniel continues to shit the bed against any good team.
I really do think we should be looking at him to be fired.
Yeah.
I think they're 1-11 against like winning teams last 3 years or some shit.
Some
like
guys,
that.
I think you said it before on the podcast, some guys are just meant to be coordinators.
And again, I don't necessarily think he's some bum head coach who can never do it again, but I think he needs to grow up and has to reassess.
Yes.
And if I'm sure he was behind giving Tua the money, you fucking made a bad decision.
Yes. That's where I'm talking about, where it's like you gotta look at yourself in the mirror, bro. You really do. as a team. All right. Rams are on fire.
Yep. I think they're going to win the
I
division.
think they're going to win the division too. Cardinals, I don't like what I see from the Cardinals, even though they won. And the Seahawks just got pummeled Sunday Night Football. They look terrible. They just got fucked
Yeah.
up by the Packers.
Especially if Gino's going to be out. And I'll say this. This will be my closing thought. The Packers are really dangerous.
Yes. I've been saying it since fucking late October with the Packers. They're a Super Bowl team. I think it's 3 Super Bowl teams. Lions are kind of, shaky right now, but it's the Lions, Eagles, and Packers. I think those 3 teams
Yep.
are on a different tier. All right.
I agree.
I just wanted to get your thoughts on one more thing. Bill Belichick is coaching North Carolina, Tar Heels, baby, going to college football.
There's a site I never thought I'd see.
Are you surprised? Are you shocked?
Yeah, super shocked. I can't believe I can't believe he'd want to go coach college kids. And I've been like kind of looking on Twitter, and I've been seeing some quotes by like Nick Saban about like these NIL shit is like kind of out of control. How like kids can just, it's like free agency. It's like, oh, okay, we'll just give you like 100 mil. I'll give you like 10 mil, and you can leave if you don't want to be here. Like this Alabama kid, Nick Saban said he played a bunch as a freshman, like killed it, and now he just wants to transfer because he can get more money somewhere else. I'm like, bro, that's crazy.
It's going to be interesting to see how he handles all that.
Yeah.
I
I'm shocked to see it. I think it'll be good. I don't think we'll ever see him in the NFL again.
Yeah, I think he's too old to see him again, depending on how long he stays there. I would think he stays there at least 2 years, at least. To see his
minimum.
recruiting class. But I think he's going to do a little bit better than people think as far as with the NIL shit, the money shit. Like a lot of people are saying, like, how is he going to handle that? I think a guy like Nick Saban didn't handle it well because he dealt with how it was back in the day where NIL was non-existent. Bill Belichick has dealt with guys who have egos, who have to get paid, that money's involved.
And no offense, I don't think there's a college coach coaching who has the same gravitas or energy as like Bill Belichick standing in the door. Like,
right.
This ain't national champion. This is world champion Super Bowl.
Right.
Like the greatest football coach of all time.
And I think it comes down to this as far as, me and Max being shocked. But in reality, should we be shocked? Because I think he probably would have had to been out of football for another year. Because if you look at the teams that are available, possibly, I don't think he was going to go to the Raiders. I don't think he was going to go to the Jets. Like, what team was going to legitly hire him and be like, we'll see? I don't think so. I think Jerry Jones and his fucking son.
Yeah, can't get the puppet.
Yeah. I think he wants full control. He wants the owner to sit the fuck back and be like, I got this. And I don't think
That sounds just like Jerry Jones.
Yeah. So I think it kind of makes sense as far as like there wasn't a legit fit for him. And there wasn't like a Justin Herbert out there. Like what quarterback's out there that's gonna be really good and no head coach? Who is it?
Correct. Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
All right. So there's our 2 cents about Bill Belichick. Look, we appreciate you guys rocking with us. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to like the video, all that good stuff. I know this one's coming out late. Bear with us. Hope you guys enjoyed it regardless. By the next time we see you, we'll see you guys before Christmas. All right. We'll see what's up. Try to do the show. Probably put it out on Christmas Eve by the time it comes out. But until next time, we out. Peace.